Hi YouTube, I'm filming this as a short intro to my TikTok video because you can't say the F word in the first 7 seconds of a YouTube video, and I did on TikTok. So I've got to add a little something at the beginning, but I promise you're going to want to hear what I have to say in that video, so please keep watching. Perhaps you, like me, were relatively clueless about the UnFork America Tour until it was already well underway and mired in controversy. If you want to understand more of the full context, I'm going to tag some creators, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I will link to their accounts in the description. Okay, to be fair, I heard about the UnFork America Tour because a number of my mutuals were participating in it, but I didn't really pay very much attention to it. I knew that it was being organized by Z Runs Campaigns, and I had previously gotten not great vibes about their organizing based on an interaction that they had with a mutual of mine, Marie. Right, both Z and her friend, the Real Progressive, who I used to follow and don't anymore, had some engagement online that felt not great to me. And then when I heard a little bit more about what they actually were unfucking, like what was the point of this tour that was bringing together these large social media creators, how was it going to unfuck anything and how was it going to benefit democracy? I wasn't quite sure. So I looked at their website, and right in big bold red font, it says, "Taking the fight to Charlie Kirk and the far right. They're bringing chaos. We're building a movement. Charlie Kirk's got billionaire backers. We've got something they can't buy, the truth." So it says they plan to be a tour that's hitting the road to shut down misinformation with receipts, build progressive power where it matters, and prove that hope isn't dead. It's just been underfunded. Why this tour? Because nice won't cut it. So like right off the bat, I'm not super cheesed about this, because to me, this feels a little bit like falling into the trap of debate bro culture. I don't disagree that we need counter messaging and we need to reach people who have been red-pilled by the kind of manosphere content that people like Charlie Kirk put out. And it says right on their website that this is organized by National Ground Game, and I know that that is Z's pack. So no hate to any of my mutuals that were participating in this, but I was just sort of like, this isn't really my scene, and I sort of zoned out from it. I didn't pay attention to what was going on. And then the last few days, my feed has just been absolutely full of content about some of the racist nonsense that has been going on. Again, I wasn't in on any of those conversations. I wasn't watching any of those lives, and I will tag creators who were and can explain to you what happened and why it was a problem. So why am I making a video? I wasn't going to say anything about it, and maybe that's wrong of me as a white woman to not call out another white woman for their racist behavior. And I have called out Z and the Real Progressive in the past. Not call out, they were really call-ins. I think it is crucial for people who call themselves progressive or leftist or what have you, who are white, to demand accountability from other white people in the movement who, engage in racist behaviors. Labor should not be left up to Black folks, people of color, to have to do that. But I just felt like I was on the margins and didn't really have enough information. And I felt like I might be inserting myself. But then I saw this video.
The UnFork America Tour drama can be summed up in 2 seconds, and it's that white people cannot hold accountability for themselves and they cannot apologize. If Z would have simply just been like, "My goodness, I am holding some unconscious biases. I'm really sorry for being microaggressive and racist. I'm going to check myself. In the meantime, I'm going to right all the wrongs I did. I'm going to pay the Black creators that I was not paying. I am going to apologize to these other creators. I'm going to platform people and make it a growth moment for almost like white people at large who do all these things." And then like people would have moved on from this.
Nathan is 100,000,000% correct. And the reason that I felt compelled to make this video is because I have made a significant amount of content in the past around white people taking accountability and what it looks like to own your shit. Right? That we as white folks, we are not used to having to say we're sorry and do it in a genuine way. We're not used to having to take accountability and work to repair the harm that we cause. We also have very little distress tolerance, and our pride gets hurt very easily, and we have a hard time dealing with big feelings, handle the distress of big feelings like guilt and shame, embarrassment. And so when we screw up, we are not so good at taking accountability. And I have talked about this so much in the past. I'm really good at apologizing, but that's because I practice at it. And I mean sincerely apologizing. In our household, we don't make our kids say they're sorry if they don't mean it. An apology is not just a reflexive thing that you say that, sweeps everything under the rug. An apology must be heartfelt. I acknowledge that I have done wrong, and I would, if you are willing, like to be able to work to repair the harm that I have inflicted on you. I take responsibility for my actions and I want to do better going forward. But in our household, we don't say that if we don't mean it. And I think for so many folks, I can only kind of speak to white culture. For so many folks, we've been raised with say you're sorry. Oh, you bumped into Jimmy, say you're sorry. Oh, you took Susie's toy, give it back and say you're sorry. It's just this reflex. It's this polite, meaningless thing that we say. And we aren't required to actually feel the regret or to want to work to repair the harm that we've done. It's like saying I'm sorry is sufficient. And so I guess in some ways, it's really wild to me that even though we've been raised to say you're sorry as little kids, that once we hit adulthood, it's like, oh, well, we don't have to say we're sorry. We are allowed to let our guilt, our shame, our embarrassment rule, and we shrink away from doing the thing that we should be doing, which is taking accountability and apologizing. And Nathan is so incredibly right here. We as white people, we are going to commit microaggressions. It's just like, sorry if you don't want to hear that. That's just the truth. We are. And honestly, when any people are gathered together and in community together, we are going to hurt each other's feelings. We are going to bring our biases. We're going to bring our bullshit to the table. And we're going to screw up now and then. We are going to inflict harm intentionally or unintentionally now and then. Because we're all very human, we're all very flawed, and we come from very different backgrounds. Some of us have deconstructed from some things more than others. Everybody's on a different point in their journey. When I've talked about this subject before, one of the things I bring up is how I was a roller derby referee for many years. I would watch, in particular, male referees who were at that time the majority of the officials make bad calls. They would know it was a bad call. The other officials knew it was a bad call. The skaters and the coaches knew it was a bad call. But they would double down on it and send the skater to the penalty box anyway. And maybe it's because I came into the sport being a parent of 4 kids. I was frequently told that I was very maternal as a referee. Whatever, I know the dude who would say that was using it as an insult, but I take it as a compliment. But when you fuck up and you pretend it didn't happen and you double down on your error, everybody can see it. You're not hiding anything from anybody. And you lose all integrity. Those were the referees that the skaters didn't trust. Now, is any referee going to be perfect, especially in a fast-paced sport like derby? No, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make a call, and then another official is going to come over and be like, I saw that from a different angle, and actually, you know what, that impact was in a legal target zone. Or you're going to make a call in the moment and then immediately be like, oh, dang, actually, there wasn't sufficient impact for that to merit a forearm penalty. And the thing to do so the skaters respect you and you maintain your integrity is not to double down on your bad call. It's to skate over to the penalty box, or maybe you can catch them on their way to the box and say, my bad, skater blue 475, come back to the track. There's no penalty. My bad call on my part. And then when the jam ends, you go and explain to the coaches, I overcalled that. I'm really sorry. There's no penalty on your skater. That's it. That's all you have to do. You just have to own your bullshit. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to have bad calls. You are allowed to fuck up now and then. You are even allowed to not always be your best self. That is what being human is, and having relationships with other people. The freedom to be imperfect, to be human, to be in process. The problem comes when you double down on what you've done wrong, or you pretend it didn't happen at all. You get defensive, you deny, you're embarrassed, and so you try not to acknowledge it, or you try to minimize the harm that you've done. The more you practice at apologizing, the more you practice owning your shit, the less awful it feels to do so, right? Part of the reason that we don't want to apologize is because it feels really uncomfortable. Our distress is very high. Those feelings of embarrassment are really, really big. And we want to shy away from those bad feelings, and we want them to just go away. But the more you practice at having integrity, the more you practice at owning your shit, the less awful it feels. It's less scary every time you do it. You realize the thing that's actually really humiliating is not admitting that you've done wrong. It's denying that you've done wrong, but everybody can see that you really did. You're not fooling anybody. I have found that when you say, I done fucked up, I'm really sorry. What can I do to work to fix it? People will forgive you. People will give you a chance to grow in that moment. In permaculture, we say that nothing is a wasted opportunity, even being a real screw up, even doing something really embarrassing. How can you own it, work to fix it? And like Nathan was saying, that's a chance for other people to be educated, to have real growth and healing and progress as a movement. It's very unfortunate to see that Z did not do that in this situation. But I just want to encourage all fellow white folks who are watching this drama unfold. Owning your shit is very freeing. The more you do it, the easier it gets. It's how you do right by the people around you and you do right by yourself. And I think what happened here with UnFork America is a great example of how we have to set aside our pride and our ego and realize how it is that we derive integrity.